Hello guys and welcome back to Car Focus. Today, it's that time of year again. It's October, which means the RS is about to go off the road. So it's the annual pilgrimage to FJRS, which is where I am today. So yeah, RS is in for its annual service. It's a major service, so we're having plugs, etc. done this time round. It's having brake lines, braided brake lines, because the standard brake lines are starting to split on the rear, and it's having an MOT. So hopefully all will be good. Once the lines have been changed, hopefully it will get through again with a clear ticket. We shall see, fingers crossed. Anyway, while I'm here, I tend to try and get some videos done while I'm here and try and test a car or a customer's car. But today I'm actually going to be driving, not one, but two of Fred, you know, Fred, who runs the place with Johnny, two of Fred's cars. Now the first one being this Fiesta ST Mk7, Spirit Blue, exactly the same as the one I used to own. This one is Mound Tune fettled as well. I think it's actually stage 2. Mound Tune. And then not only that, but another car I used to own in the same colour as well, a Mk6 Fiesta ST. So yeah, I thought this would be a good opportunity just to do both cars back to back. Like I say, I've owned both cars back in the day. Obviously the Mk7 was more of a recent thing to me than the Mk6 was. I had the Mk6 in 2006, I think, so a long time ago. Had the Mk7, I bought mine in 2013. I bought them both nearly new. I owned the Mk7 for 2 or 3 years. I think it might have been 3 years, and I didn't own the Mk6 for that long. It was probably about a year, and unfortunately it was written off. It wasn't my fault. A lorry took me out on a roundabout, and unfortunately the car ended up on its roof. I was okay, but the car was written off. It was a very sad day. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you around both these cars because they're side by side. I thought it's just a nice opportunity to see both generations next to each other. And then I'll hop in the Mk7, go for a drive in that, and then we'll go back in time. Actually, no, we'll hop in the Mk6 first, go for a drive in that, then we'll hop in the Mk7 and just see how things have evolved. Not really a fair comparison because this one's tuned and the Mk6 is totally standard. It's a low miler as well, by the way. It's done 23,000 miles, completely original, which is quite a rare thing these days. But we'll flip the camera around, show you around both the cars, and then we will go for a drive and compare the two back to back. So here we are, both of them side by side. Totally different looking cars, obviously two totally different generations. Mk6 Fiesta, Mk7 Fiesta here. Obviously the Mk6 is a lot more boxy, the Mk7 is a lot more sleek and aggressive, but both, especially this day and age, highly desirable cars. Now we'll quickly go around the Mk6 first. Now when this came out, I think people just expected a little bit more of the car. It was a bit underpowered, it had a 2-litre engine, 150 horsepower, not much torque, and you had to really rev it to get it going. But it looked okay, not too much different from a Zetec S or a normal Fiesta, but it had the bigger 17-inch alloy wheels with Pirelli P0 Nero tyres, which this one has got. You could have an optional stripe kit. This has got the side stripes. You could have the up and overs as well, which this one doesn't have. And then around the back, you've got a bit of a bigger spoiler, ST badging, and a little single exit exhaust pipe there with a rear diffuser, very similar to that of the Zetec S. Looking inside, funky blue dashboard. So this is actually the facelifted version, so slightly different dashboard, instrument cluster, seats were the same. Not too bolstered. And then moving on to the Mk7, which is just way more modern looking. I think they're both good looking cars, but obviously the Mk7 was just brought into the modern era. Yeah, this is Spirit Blue. So we got 17-inch alloy wheels on this one as well. We got discs at the rear. In fact, I think the Mk6, yeah, was the first Fiesta to have discs at the rear. There you go. Yeah, different rear diffuser. Got a dual exit exhaust at the rear there. Different bumpers, side skirts. Quick look inside the Mk7. Obviously, totally different interior as well. Way more modern in here. I think this still looks quite good. Some people say it looks quite dated now. But yeah, so in here we got Recaro seats. A lot more hugging. Way more bolstered. This car, I think this is an ST2, this car, so you got the half levers, and they come with the illuminated kick plates. I think, was this part of a street pack or something? But I think ST2 it came standard, and we've got an additional carbon gear knob there. And yeah, you've got heated seats, sat nav in these with the Sony radio. Yeah, it's just a lot more modern, quite a nicer place to be. And the seating position in here as well is quite a bit lower. Just feels a bit more sporty than that of the Mk6, which you feel really high up in. And then looking at the front of these, you've got DRLs with the Mk7 ST, so daytime running lights, and just a way more aggressive looking front end to that of the Mk6. But yeah, quite an interesting comparison. I'm looking forward to taking both out. We'll start off with the Mk6 and see how we go. So we are inside the little Mk6 Fiesta ST. I've come out to a nice little road, so we should be able to have a little bit of a play. So first impressions when you jump in this car, now you've got to bear in mind that this is like over 20 years old now, this platform. I mean, the Fiesta ST, the Mk6, came out in 2004, I think it was, on a 54 plate. So yeah, 20 years old, that is a long time in terms of motoring. Things come on a long way. So jumping in here, naturally, it does feel pretty old now. Things that stand out to me immediately, and I think I covered these points the last time I reviewed one of these cars about a year and a half ago, is steering wheel size. It just feels huge, and seating position and the seat itself. So the seat itself just isn't very well bolstered. You feel like you could kind of roll out of the thing when cornering hard, and the seating position is just really high. You just feel like you're kind of like sat really high up in the car, but luckily it's got quite a high roof, this car, so you're not sort of headbutting the ceiling. But yeah, you just really want to be kind of hunkered down and just want a bit more adjustability in the seat to get lower, and a slightly smaller steering wheel. And then this car would be pucker, because it feels like a very small car when you're driving it. It feels like a little go-kart. And just to have that nice bit of extra low seating position would just finish it off nicely. So yeah, that's like a kind of an immediate gripe with the car. But that can be remedied. If you really wanted to, you can sort that out yourself. Inside the car, it's nice and spacious. I'm not keen on the coloured kind of dashboards that they brought in on the facelift. This has got like the blue soft touch kind of rubbery material, and it's got the blue seats, which I don't mind. But yeah, the coloured dashboard I'm not a massive fan of. We've got the Sony infotainment system in here, the Sony CD player, and this one's actually got a automatic climate control, which I don't think you see many of these with, so that's quite a nice touch. Power fold mirrors. Yeah, we've got automatic headlights as well, which is a nice little kind of touch to have. I'm not sure about the wipers if they're auto, but yeah, overall it's a car that offers basic stuff, but it's kind of useful things that are quite handy. But anyway, that's enough of that. We're not here to do that. We're here to talk about how it drives. So this car has done 23,565 miles, and you can really tell this particular car just feels like a solid little thing. Even the steering wheel just is showing no signs of wear. The seats are immaculate. And this car was actually sat up for quite a long time. It's been laid up in a garage, so it hasn't really been used. But yeah, it feels solid. It doesn't feel like it's loose or rattling. You can tell it's got low mileage. And like the suspension and yeah, just the way the car kind of goes around this back road, it feels very, very, yeah, well put together. It just feels like a tight little car. And I'm not even going fast here. I'm doing like 45, and on these little twisties, it's already putting a smile on my face. It's just got that really basic sort of recipe of lightweight. We've got a 2-litre engine up front with 150 horsepower, which is not loads, but in a car that weighs this amount, it'll do. It could do with a bit more, but it'll do. And comparing this car to the one I drove about a year and a half ago, this one actually feels a bit more punchy. Like, this feels like it's got a little bit more oomph on the lower down torque in the rev range. You kind of put your foot down and it reacts immediately. Yeah, it feels a bit quicker. I was a bit underwhelmed by the last one, but this one. So we've got a nice tight left here. The steering's really sharp and really quick. Yeah, so it actually feels quite responsive, very nimble. And yeah, really nice steering. You just need a smaller steering wheel in your hand to be able to kind of capitalise on it. But yeah, I was talking to Fred about this car, and he was kind of talking about whether he's going to keep it standard or not. And I personally think he should, because you just don't see these cars in standard trim anymore. They're either thrashed, abused, or like hidden away. You just don't see them. So I think for a car like this that he's probably going to use over the summer, I think it's just nice to have it standard as it came out the factory. Take it to a few shows and just kind of show it off for how it was when it came out. They do sit quite high suspension wise. When I had mine, the first thing I did was lower it, but it doesn't actually feel like it's as high as it is. It's a bit like the Puma I had, the Mark 1 Puma. That was kind of comically high, but it doesn't feel that high when you're driving it. So, but yeah, it's just a fun little car. I think I need to spin around and do that section of road again and just see what it's like when we give it a bit more welly, so to speak. So let's spin around and we'll give that a go. All right, here we go. National speed limit. So suspension is quite firm, like with all Ford performance hatches, but does take these corners nicely. Lovely road. Brakes feel adequate. Yeah, as you get up to a bit more speed, you can feel the car becomes just a little bit more unstable, and you can feel the height a bit more of the car. At slower speed, it's not much of a problem. You've got to really keep it up in the top of the power band as well to keep her moving at a respectable pace, as expected. But yeah, it is good fun. It is good fun. It's just that big steering wheel. So that concludes my little spin in the Mk6 Fiesta ST. Had a good little run there. Good fun. Brought back some memories. Like I say, it's always nice to drive a proper small old school hatchback. It's crazy now to think that these are old school hatchbacks. I remember when they were brand new. But yeah, time moves fast, and so do the cars that come along with it. So yeah, great fun little car, just back to basics motoring. Big 2-litre engine slapped up front. Not the most powerful thing, but it's got enough power to pull you along, enough power to sling you around some corners and to have a bit of fun. Handles nicely. Just a lightweight little chassis, and you can throw it in corners, and yeah, it puts a smile on your face, and that is the main thing. That's what these cars are all about. If it puts a smile on your face, job done, in my opinion. You're not buying one of these now to use every day, cart the family around. These are pretty much bought now as toys, as a bit of fun. So it's going to be cool now to jump in the Mk7. Big transformation in vehicle there with the Mk7, so let's jump out of this one, jump into that one, and see how they compare. Right guys, you now join me inside the Mk7 Ford Fiesta ST, or Mark 7.5 should I say, because this is actually the facelifted Mark 7 in terms of the ST, because you had the ZTEC S and the S1600, which was the pre-facelift sport variant of this car. Now I'm on the same road as the Mark 6, and I'll do the same thing. So we'll talk about first impressions initially, and immediately I prefer this car. Now when I had my Mark 7 Fiesta ST, I thought it was the absolute mutt's nuts. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, and it was brilliant. And all the journos agreed. Everybody that had a Mark 7 Fiesta ST thought it was brilliant. For that period of time, it was class leading in terms of being a fast, fun super mini or hot hatch, whatever you want to call it. It was pretty much top of the class, and it held that crown for a long time. And even today, it still kind of has the ultimate recipe for a small, fun, fast hatchback, hot hatchback. Now obviously with the Mark 8 Fiesta ST, they dropped a cylinder. It was still great, still had a great chassis, pretty much the same as this one by the way, but the engine just didn't, I don't know, I liked it, but it's not as free revving, it's just not as, it sounds a bit gruffer. For me, this is the overall package. And comparing it to the Mark 6, just hopping in from one to the other, This just feels way nicer. This is like, it's more comfortable. It's still firm, but it has a bit more suppleness to the suspension. The seats are way more comfy. These are proper buckety seats, these Recaros. Obviously they're heated as well. You can get a lot lower in them. Steering wheel, although the steering wheel still is quite big, it's a bit thicker, so you can kind of, you get a better grip on it. The interior is just more modern. I mean, this is over 10 years of advancements here, so it's going to be better. It just looks a lot better in here. You feel more cocooned. It's just, yeah, it feels less sparse, but it's still a small car. Still got good headroom up to the ceiling there. And yeah, it's just, for me, this car, I mean, the Mk6 is my era, and I respect it and I enjoy it and it's fun, but this car is peak small hot hatch, and that's a fact. This car is peak small hot hatch. 1.6 turbocharged, 180 horsepower, 200 on overboost. Yeah, nice amount of torque, and then if you map it, like this one's stage 2 mount tune, that figure just goes up and it becomes a proper little weapon. But yeah, it's night and day difference, and these cars, they're hard to compare. Even though they're both Fiesta STs, they're just totally different cars. The Mk6 now, I'd say, is just more of a nostalgic thing, unless you really want to kind of look at stripping it out, you know, sticking some cams in there and getting a bit more power out of it. But in terms of kind of like on the road packages, standard to standard, yeah, the Mk6 is more of just a nostalgic kind of go back in time feel good car, whereas this is still something you can use as a proper little point-to-point weapon. And yeah, like I say, I love the one I had, already jumping in this. I know it's going to be great fun when we start to push things on a bit. But yeah, so this is running mount tune stage 2, but it doesn't have the hardware other than the exhaust. It's got the silicon boost pipe and the MP215 intake, I believe, but yeah, it doesn't have the uprated intercooler or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's like with its power delivery when we really give it some. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut now to us driving on a nice empty little bit of road, and we can put it through its paces and give our final verdict at the end of the video. Right, so a little push on some twisties, same little stretch that we did the Mk6 on. Some nice 90-degree bends here. Go down into second gear and we'll just see, oh my god, it's a lot more darty. Front end feels way more kind of on it. Tucks in a lot quicker. Oh yeah. Now in this car, you always feel like the car is pivoting around you. You feel like the centerpiece of the car, which is awesome. But yeah, the front end is just way more darty than the Mk6. You can really like pick out the apex of the corner. Whereas the Mk6, like I say, because of the extra height, the more speed you got, the more kind of unsettled it felt. Whereas this just feels absolutely on it. Oh, this is mega. And that extra pace just like, yeah, just really helps. Really helps. What a car. What a little car. Second gear, obviously we are struggling for a bit of grip there. Those poor budget tyres up front, bless them, trying their hardest to get some form of traction, but they're struggling in second. Third gear is the one though. Third gear is the one. This is just, yeah, what a little thing. What a little thing. Brakes are better. Brakes are better. They've got to be though, because it's a faster car, so you need more adequate brakes. Nice little gear change as well. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yes. Very nice indeed. Like I say, it's just much easier to go faster, but it's still really rewarding as well. Really rewarding. I've got ESC off, by the way, traction control off. You don't want that intervening and spoiling your fun. I've had a really good run on this road, to be fair. Really clear run, which I think might come to an end in a second. But wow. Whoa! What a back road basher this thing is. I feel bad now. I didn't give the Mk6 as much attention as I did this, but this is just way more fun. Anyway, that's the end of the road. That is the end of this road, so I think we should conclude the video. But yeah, wow. Chalk and cheese cars, night and day in terms of performance. It's not fully fair because this is mapped. I know this is mapped, but I know what these are like standard. They're still superb little cars. And in standard form, you can just drive harder around these kind of roads. Like now, because we've got more power, sort of modulating it a little bit. When it's standard, you can exploit kind of all the power, and it's still a rapid little car. Whereas the Mk6 is just a little bit lost. It just needs a bit more power. Yeah, and it's just a way more kind of old school feeling car. Yeah, in terms of my personal preferences, I'm all about the Mk7. It's still my era, along with the Mk6, albeit earlier on in my driving career, or driving life, should I say. But yeah, this is just, for me, it's just the perfect little Ford on not a huge budget. So if I had to choose between the two, I'd pick this all day, every day, but I do appreciate the lure towards the Mk6, and I do still love it, and I do still kind of have a nice kind of connection with it as well. But overall, for me, it's the Mk7. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to Fred for letting me take these two cars out, having a quick back-to-back. And obviously, go check out FJRS if you have a fast Ford, or any car for that matter, but mainly a fast Ford. It's in great hands there. Give them a call if you want to get any work done, and then go check them out for yourself. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Until the next one, as always, take care, and I shall see you soon.